Once upon a time, in a bustling city in Nigeria, there lived a young man named Arinze. He resided in a modest one-room apartment known locally as a face me, I face you building. Arinze had been in a relationship with a young woman named Ego for the past 5 years. They met during their university days and had grown to love each other since then. Arinze and Ego have been in love and their relationship is known to Ego's family and their friends. One day, Arinze received a distressing notice from his landlord demanding that he vacate his apartment by the end of the week. This news came as a shock to Ego as she had not been aware of the situation. Arinze, worried and anxious, turned to Ego for support. Why didn't you tell me about this sooner, Arinze? What are we going to do? Ego asked, her voice filled with concern. I don't know, Ego. I'm still trying to figure it out, Arinze replied, feeling overwhelmed. Despite his efforts to get a job, Arinze had not been successful. He earned a living by offering classes to students seeking admission into the university, but it was barely enough to make ends meet. Ego, who had recently secured a job at a microfinance bank, decided to take matters into her own hands. After the close of work, Ego decided to visit Arinze. She met him eating. He offered her some, but Ego obliged. Ego had just received her pay from work that day. She decided to get some foodstuffs and provisions for Arinze. Hopefully, this will be enough for you till next month and when I receive my next salary, or you might get a job before then, Ego said. Thank you so much, my pride. What will I do without you? Arinze replied. I submitted some applications and hopefully something will come up before the end of the month. I believe God will do it. Arinze explained to Ego that his major concern is the accommodation problems that he's currently experiencing, as he doesn't have any savings or help from anyone to get a new accommodation. Ego, moved by pity for the predicament her boyfriend is experiencing, offered him a place to stay at her parents' house, where her sister Nkechi, a medical student, also resided. Ego's kind gesture touched Arinze deeply, and he promised to move in with them soon, hoping to find a solution to his accommodation problem. Ego went home and explained to her sister Nkechi about her boyfriend's ordeal and the offer she made to him. Nkechi was not happy her sister offered her boyfriend a place to stay with them in their parents' house, since their parents are overseas. She was angry at Ego for not consulting her before making such a big decision that concerned them both. Ego explained to her that everything happened so fast, and since she is in a medical school, she is alone at home most times, and the offer is only for a limited period till he gets an apartment. Nkechi warned her to be careful and follow her heart in every decision she's making about her relationship with Arinze, that men are not to be trusted. Ego's offer was met with mixed feelings from Nkechi, who felt uneasy about the arrangement. However, she reluctantly agreed to let Arinze stay temporarily. Arinze moved in with Ego and Nkechi. They made sure he felt at home. Ego took good care of him, providing him with money and food. And Ego took good care of him, providing him with money, food, and letting him use her parents' car. Despite the initial awkwardness, Arinze became a part of their family. One day, while Ego was at work, She received a call from Nkechi, who sounded concerned. Ego, you need to come home. There is something you need to see, Nkechi said urgently. When Ego arrived, she found Arinze talking to a woman she had never met before. Arinze introduced the woman as his cousin, Amaka, who he had met earlier that day. Ego welcomed Amaka into their home as she had not met any of Arinze's family members before. Trusting Arinze's judgment, Amaka became part of the family. She visits most of the time and hangs out with Ego and Arinze. As time passed, Ego noticed that Amaka was spending more time with Arinze. She felt a twinge of jealousy but dismissed it, trusting Arinze completely. Arinze stayed with Ego in her parents' house for 2 years without a job, surviving from Ego and her family. Months passed and Arinze's situation improved when he finally landed a job at a multinational company. Ego was overjoyed for him and they celebrated his success together. However, as time went on, Ego began to notice changes in Arinze's behavior. 6 months into his job, Nkechi asked Ego why is Arinze delaying moving out and asking for her hand in marriage. She told her that Arinze asked her to give him some time to settle down and clear some financial debt he incurred while he was out of job. Nkechi told her sister to stop rejecting all her suitors because of Arinze, as she is not getting any younger. She is already in her late 30s and has been with Arinze almost her life. Arinze loves me and he asks me to be patient with him. You know I can't rush him now because he got a job. And yes, Nkechi, I know I'm not getting any younger too. Arinze kept making promises and excuses to Ego about them settling down. After 1 year into his new job, he got a place to stay. A few weeks after he moved out, Ego met Amaka in Arinze's house. She was surprised to discover Amaka was staying with Arinze, doing chores around the house and settling in. Arinze explained that Amaka had some issues with her roommate and decided to spend the weekend at his place. Ego was a little worried about Amaka's presence, but she shoved it away since Arinze had never lied or cheated on her since they started dating. Nkechi came back one day and told her sister that she needed to talk to Arinze about setting boundaries with her cousin, as they are always seen hanging around and with a little boy. Ego told her to stop escalating things, that Arinze would never cheat on her. Amaka is his family and is probably one of the kids Amaka teaches in her school. A few months later, Arinze became distant from Ego. He rarely comes around, and most times when she offers to visit, he comes up with excuses. Ego noticed he was avoiding her too. She was worried that what her sister told her about Arinze might be true. One evening, Amaka came to Ego's house that she needs to talk to her about Arinze. She told her that she was Arinze's wife. They've been married for 2 years now. When things got difficult for them, Arinze asked her to go and stay with her parents. She was pregnant at the time. She played along with being his cousin because it was their plan all along so he can have a roof over his head while looking for a job. Now that everything is settled, she would appreciate if Ego would stop bothering her husband and look for her own man. Ego couldn't believe her ears. She asked Amaka to leave her house immediately. Ego was heartbroken that the man he was in a relationship with got married under her roof and didn't have the decency to let her know or tell her to move on with her life despite all she did for him. Ego cried her eyes out. She was devastated and in shock that the woman her boyfriend introduced her to as his cousin was his wife. Nkechi heard about Amaka and Arinze. She went to their house and told Arinze that he was heartless and it will never be well with him for hurting her sister and allowing her waste her time and resources on him, knowing he was never going to settle down with her. Arinze, who was not remorseful of his actions, told Nkechi to leave, that he was never in love with her sister. He saw an opportunity with her and took it. Arinze, you will have no peace, and karma will definitely hit you hard. Both you and Amaka, I know you can hear me from inside, Nkechi said. Ego summoned courage and visited Arinze. She asked him if what Amaka said was true. He acknowledged it and told her that he appreciated all her help towards him and that he is willing to pay her back in full. Ego, now realizing that she had been betrayed by the person she loved, told Arinze she does not want anything to do with him ever in her life, and she won't collect a dime from him. Ego never recovered from the betrayal. She was broken and shattered. She lost her job and self-esteem. Years passed, and while Nkechi had moved on to a successful career as a medical doctor and a family life, Ego remained unmarried and haunted by the pain of her past as she can't trust any man again. Arinze moved on with his life, seemingly unaffected by his actions. One day, Nkechi visited Ego with a shocking news. A man had discovered that the 2 children he had with his wife were not his. The wife had been unfaithful and the children were the result of her affair. She said that one of the kids is always sick, so they decided to do some tests alongside with the parents, and during the process they discovered that the 2 kids' genotypes are AS and SS, while both parents are AA. The wife was bold enough to tell the man that she played along with his plan, and this is the reward for his betrayal towards her. Ego, you wouldn't believe that the people I'm talking about is Arinze and Amaka. Ego was shocked to learn that the man Nkechi was talking about was Arinze. She couldn't believe that Amaka was capable of such betrayal. A few months after Nkechi broke the news to Ego, Arinze came one early morning to apologize to Ego. He begged her to forgive him and that his life wouldn't turn out well unless she forgave him. He told Ego that he was fired from his work for no good reason, and now Amaka have shattered him completely with infidelity. Ego told him she had nothing to do with his life and what is happening to him, that God was the only judge about what he did to her. Whatever you are facing in life had nothing to do with me. Arinze, you are a selfish being. All my life, it has been about you. After all you did to me, you have the audacity to talk about how your life is ruined to me. Arinze started crying that he hurt her intentionally, used her and abandoned her. His life is now in shambles due to the past life he lived. He explained to Ego how Amaka made him father 2 kids that had not been his for years. When he discovered the betrayal, he lost himself and his job too, and now he is starting all over. Ego told him to live with his decision like she's living with hers, and because of him, she never married again because she can't trust any man. She asked Arinze to leave and never return. In the end, Ego, though not married, chose to live her life on her terms. She challenged her energy into counseling young girls about relationship and life goals. As for Arinze, he learned the hard way that the consequences of his actions would haunt him for the rest of his life, In the end, it is important that we avoid ruining people's life just because they love us and are vulnerable. Some wounds never heal. Until next time, show us love by hitting the like button and subscribing to this channel. Thank you.